Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about the fact that so many of us read all the right books these days, and we even try to do meditation, and we understand that the changes that we want to make and that we are worthy of better things, better relationships, more fulfilling, more vulnerable, more intimate. However, what many of us don't understand is that a lot of that information that we try to get, that we try to receive from books, remains on the level of mental projection and mental knowing. And when it comes to actually making changes in our lives or in our relationships, mental knowing alone is just not enough. I'll explain why. What often happens is, for example, I can be telling myself, I need to have this conversation with my husband or my partner. I need to have this conversation. We need to talk about it. I need to tell him what I think I should be getting, receiving, doing, we should be doing together, or how he should be fulfilling my needs and all that stuff. And then what happens is that once we actually do have that conversation, we may be preparing and we may know exactly how it should be from our mental projection. But then when we actually are having this conversation, our partner's reaction gets us to come in contact with our own reaction in the body. So what happens is the mind could have calculated everything perfectly, but when it comes to being in the actual situation, our nervous system is not prepared, because if we haven't trained our nervous system to have a larger window of tolerance, our buttons will be pressed and we'll just fall back into the same cycle. We'll be repeating exactly the same thing that we've always done. For example, a lot of women who come to me tell me, well, you tell us, be safe. You're safe to be you. You're safe to self-express. And then when I try to self-express, he shuts me down. So to say that he shuts you down, basically what's happening is your partner is going to have his reaction to what you're saying, right? You have the right to say what you're saying. He or she, your partner, your friend, have the right to react in the way that they will react. How can you in that moment remain safe, sovereign, and in a way separate? How can you in that moment not fall into that enmeshment or codependency where their reaction threatens you? How can you in that moment remain sovereign, in full capacity and control of your nervous system, so that no matter how they react, no matter how you are received, you will feel safe in your body, in your choices anyway? That's the actual work, right? It's good. I mean, the mind shift work is an important work. It's probably the first place where we start usually. But what I observe in my own experience, and especially what I see with clients now, is that we can know the theory and we can have very good intentions and we can do, everything that some advisor has told us. But if we're not also working with our body, if we're not also doing the work with understanding our body's language, knowing how to soothe our nervous system and how to remain in control of our nervous system and our capacities, we won't be able to make any changes. Because what happens every time we try to create a change, our partners will be reacting to it, right? Because we're locked in a dance in our relationships. So anytime one of you changes the steps or music, the other will be reacting until the new normal is achieved, right? You're like disbalancing the scales. So When we learn how to remain in control of our nervous system, how to remain in the present moment, not go into the stress cycle, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, which is our tendency, right? That's the first thing that happens when we're in any kind of trigger. But remain in control of your body, your capacities, and remain, regulated. Then you can create change. Because then, if you are in control of your nervous system, you will remain in that cool, calm, and collected state. Even if your partner is triggered, you will be able to hold that pillar of calm. And because you're not going to get into that normal dynamic where everybody gets flustered, they will then eventually, possibly not right away, but eventually they will start feeling safe from your sense of safety. And that's how change can happen. That's how we can create change. So once again, to come back to that example of I try to express myself, but he shuts me down. Actually, unless he physically comes, shuts your mouth with his hand, or ties your hands and blindfolds you, he's not shutting you down. He may have an emotional reaction to which he is entitled, but you are still remaining free. You are still remaining in your power. This is the most difficult thing. This is what took me many, many, many years to finally master, because it's in this moment that things get really out of control, where both partners go into the fight-flight syndrome, right? Into the stress cycle. The conversation is over. And then not only is it over, you're just left in your warring camps. Whereas if at least one of you can remain calm, the one who initiates change, normally is the one who needs to be in that calm state, then change slowly but surely can ensue. Because if you don't get flustered and get into the usual fight with your partner, they will be able to regulate themselves as well. And this is how we create change in relationships. And this is how repair happens as well, which is such an important part. Conflict is normal. Difficult conversations are normal. Even reactions are normal. How we handle what happens during these conversations is what will dictate what happens next for your relationship. And then consistently, right? Consistently, ability to repair. Consistently, ability to come back and to go on from where you left before is how we create change within relationships. It's very, very difficult, especially in relationships that are long-term. In a relationship in which we've been for many, many years, the rails of behavior are so set that to introduce change is really, really difficult. And I know what I'm talking about because I've now been married for over 30 years, and we've gone through many variants of this marriage. And now, seemingly coming into yet the next chapter, I can now speak about it without the emotional charge and carry lessons that I was able to glean from this experience. So please feel free to reach out. I am so eager to share my experience. I'm so eager to help other people, whether you're in a relationship currently or out of relationship but hope to have another relationship in the future. I am so passionate about sharing this information and helping other people have rewarding, fulfilling, vulnerable, and intimate relationships, because the quality of life is very much affected by the quality of relationships that we have. All right, everyone. Let me know how this lands, and I will see you soon.